I got a follow-up call about something that I bought a year ago. 1 year. Meanwhile, in multifamily, we can't even follow up 3 days after a tour without someone needing a reminder, a sticky note, or divine intervention. If you're in leasing and that made you squirm a little, good. Let's talk about why our follow-up game is broken and how to fix it.
Hello, welcome to the Rooms with Ronald podcast, brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington. In 2023, I set an intention to shop 100 apartment communities to see how leasing was evolving around the country. Rooms with Ronald was born out of that experience. In this series, I share my experiences and engage in meaningful conversations with other professionals in the industry as we discuss all things related to leasing and marketing. Join in as we expand the Rooms with Ronald experiment.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Rooms with Ronald, the Micro Living Edition, where we talk about things in 10 minutes or less. I'm your host, Ronald Harrington. So let's dive in to this moment as I was drinking my afternoon coffee that happened that I had to stop what I was doing and record this for you. So there I was, just drinking my afternoon coffee, going through the motions, looking at things, building some content, and the unexpected happened. My phone rang. Now, I don't usually answer numbers I don't know, but this one said FedEx. And I thought, oh, wow, that's interesting. I don't remember ordering anything from FedEx, but let's see what they needed. But this turns out it wasn't about a package or delay, but it was about someone asking me about a $500 transaction that I completed last year. They wanted to know if I would be printing again at their location. And this was in Tampa, and I was doing leasing training. So that's how I know about what the price was. And they also said you printed leasing workbooks. So they read the CRM. And it got me thinking, if they can do that, a cold call, why can't multifamily? So let's just kind of dive into what they did right? They used their CRM and their data to reconnect. And they did this at the right time, right? They were going through the database. They saw I created an order around this time last year, what the dollar was. So they thought, I wonder if this is repeat business if they're going to do it. They saw as a presentation. They mentioned that in the follow-up. Why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we using the tools that we had available to us? Why do we just think, oh, the AI will do it? They assumed there was some sort of value in it, right? It wasn't a cold pitch. It wasn't like I had never used that specific location before, but it was a warm reminder that, hey, we're still here if you need us. We can do this with a warm reminder to our prospects who were looking 9-10 months ago in multifamily that, hey, we're still here. You didn't choose us last time, but we got you this time. And they weren't afraid to ask me. They weren't afraid to close. They weren't to say, hey, do you have printing needs? Guess what? They don't even have sales training. This was just someone knowing that the business at this particular location was down, and that they probably needed to drum up business, and this is the way they did it. So let's talk about the multifamily follow-up dilemma. Now, we are going to do a full deep dive episode of Rooms with Ronald with this a little bit later, but this happened and I just had to tell you guys. So let's talk about it. We lack the habit of following up, right? We don't want to seem pushy. We don't want to seem bothersome. We just assume that you toured with us. If you want to apply, it will happen on our own time. Whenever it's convenient for you, you don't need me to get here. We suffer from the out of sight, out of mind mentality, right? And here's the thing. Once they walk out the door, we know they're not coming back, right? We know that we're going to have to hound them and hound them and hound them until we finally get them to sit down and commit to us. But our teams, instead of following up and nurturing what's already in the system, would rather spend their energy and their time and their wheelhouse chasing after new leads. this causing an interaction frustration for our teams, right? That's why they always say, I need more leads. I need more leads. No, they need follow-up and they need a plan. Why is this a dilemma? And where's the opportunity? Well, we all need reminders, right? Let's be real. Who puts off things, doing things until you get the reminder? I mean, I have a reminder to thank my husband for dinner every night because I know that's not what I'm good at. I need those gentle reminders. We have to get out of the mindset that follow-up is pushy. It isn't. It's professional. And you get bonus points if you make it personal and you tie in what you already know. This reunites that emotional connection because we know once they leave, that emotional connection tends to fade quickly. Timing is everything. So following up, just like them, they tied in the data point that I had spent how much money. They knew what I was doing it for, the presentation. They looked at the file and they used that to make a warm call. It was not a cold traffic call. It was a warm call because I had been there before. Use the tools that are available to you. Use your CRM and schedule out your posts. 1, 3, 7. If they're looking long-term, what's the long-term plan? Use that. Personalize the message. I remembered you liked the courtyard view. I remember Snoopy wanted to go to the dog park. And for our management team listening to this, build out those KPIs and celebrate the wins. The more that your team knows what's happening, the easier it is, and we can celebrate those wins with them. A massive company like FedEx can treat a print job, a $500 print job, like it mattered. We can treat our future residents like they did too. Not only did they treat it like they mattered, at the end of the phone call, she even said to me, please remember, we're the FedEx by Fresh Kitchen or XYZ, right? So she even tied into their location because she knows there's multiple. And if I had needs in the future, I wanted to be sure I was going to them. And she knew that. So that sales psychology that she did was brilliant. For $500, we can even get our teams to follow up when it comes to a $1,500 a month transaction, which correlates to, $18,000 in business, and we can't get our teams. But FedEx has it figured out. Challenge your teams this week to reconnect with someone who toured in the last 30 days and encourage them just to ask for the sale, ask for the application, ask for them to come back in and release. We can do that. FedEx has it figured out, and so can we, right? I don't understand why there's this disconnect of when it comes to follow-up, it should all be left to automation. Alrighty, guys, there you have it. You have today's edition of Rooms with Ronald the Micro. Before I go, I have one more mic drop moment. If someone can track a dusty transaction from 12 months ago and turn it into new business, there's zero excuse for letting warm leads go cold in just 72 hours. Leasing isn't lost deals, it's lost follow-ups. So here's your challenge. Dig into your CRM, pick 5 prospects who toured and disappeared, ghosted you like a bad Tinder date, and make the call. Because if you're not following up, someone else will, and they'll get the lease. Until next time, guys, happy leasing. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in today. I hope I left you with some fresh ideas or a new perspective. Leasing and marketing are evolving rapidly, and Rooms with Ronald is committed to offering a place to hear about those changes. We also celebrate and acknowledge the fundamentals of exceptional service that will never go out of style. So if you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, or subscribe. Visit multifamilymedianetwork.com to learn more about our other exceptional industry podcasts, thought pieces, and sponsorship opportunities.